What's the difference between an immigration attorney and a notary? In this video, I'm going to discuss the key distinctions and let you know which one you should choose. Hey everybody, this is attorney Jesus Martinez. There are four main differences between a notary and an attorney that I want to discuss with you. The first is knowledge. The second is the license. The third is ethics. And lastly, the cost. First, with the knowledge. In order to be an attorney, generally, you need to go to school for about 7 years. A notary, on the other hand, they need to complete an X amount of hours of study. After that, they take an exam. And then if they pass, they need to get bonded and they are a notary. I don't know exactly how many hours are in 7 years, but I'm pretty sure it's a lot more than 100. With that knowledge, usually with attorneys, they take classes in what they're going to practice in. So for immigration, they take immigration class, they take an immigration internship, externship, apprenticeship, so that they can learn more about exactly what it means to be an immigration attorney, to engage in immigration law. For notaries, you don't need that. With immigration law, you have the Immigration Nationality Act, you have opinions, you have USCIS opinions, you have Attorney General opinions, you have court cases, various other controlling bodies of law that tell you what immigration law is. This gets to another point about ethics. When attorneys are barred, they have to adhere to certain ethical obligations to their clients. If they are representing someone, they have to adequately and diligently represent this individual. What that means is that they have to act in the best course of their client, and they have to make sure that they have the most up-to-date information available to assist them. Notaries, they don't have the same attorney ethical obligations to the individuals they help. For them, it's more of just a one-type transaction that they're doing for the individuals. For the attorneys, they're assisting them and they're making sure that their best interests are being represented, that their best interests are coming to fruition. If you compare it to a doctor, the doctor has an ethical obligation that if they're doing this sort of procedure, it's in the best interest, in the best health of their client. With the notary, it's more of just a transaction. If you say, hey, I need assistance with filling out this petition, they can't advise you on the law. They are not familiar with the law and they cannot give legal advice. If you're ineligible for that, they can't tell you if you should wait. They can't tell you if there's another type of legal benefit that you can apply for. They can't tell you that. And even if they could, because they don't have the same ethical obligations as attorneys, they don't have to give you that advice. Third point is about being licensed. In order to be an attorney, in order to engage in the practice of law, you need to take an exam and you need to pass it in order to become an attorney. Generally, in most states, you need to go to law school, you need to graduate, and then you need to take the bar exam. What that means is that you need 7 years of education. Once you complete that, you can take the bar exam, and if you pass, you are licensed to practice law in that state. Since immigration is federal law, if you're barred, if you're licensed in one state, you can practice in any other state. Notaries, they don't need to study. They don't need to go to school for 7 years. They don't need to take a bar exam. They just need to get bonded. They need to do a certain amount of hours of study and then take an exam. And after that, they're a notary. On one hand, one requires generally 7 years of education. On the other hand, several hundred hours, if that, and an exam. The last point is cost. Yes, attorneys do cost more than notaries, but there's a reason for that. The reasons I previously mentioned are some of the reasons why when you're paying an attorney, you are paying for their knowledge, for their education, for the time they invested into their craft, which in some cases is 7 years, if not more. With notaries, you're not paying for that education. You're not paying for that experience. You're paying them to fill out a form. I advise you to be careful. In some instances, a notary may be a viable option. A notary may be able to assist you with your matter. If it's something that's simple, if it's something that is widely done, if you have had several consultations, if you've spoken with several people, it may be, I say may because it depends on your case, but it may be fine for the notary to assist you. However, if there is some sort of criminal issue, if there are more legal complications, I definitely recommend to not go with the notary and go with an attorney to analyze your case. The reason for that is, it's kind of like apples and oranges. You have something that's complex, you can't really compare it to somebody else's case, and you don't want or what you don't know to come back and bite you, especially since immigration is so important to people's lives. Why would you risk going with the notary, saving a few several $1,000s, but risk it damaging you for life? I definitely recommend speaking with an attorney and getting an attorney to assist you with your case, just so you know that you're getting the most correct information and that you're also doing things in the correct and best way so that it doesn't negatively impact your case. I know I've had consultations where individuals say, hey, I went with the notary. They assisted me with my immigration case, and look here, now I have the interview. And after having spoken with them, it turns out that they are not eligible for that benefit that they're seeking. And the individual is just shocked, thinking like, why? Like, oh my gosh, the notary, they never told me this. And it goes back to what I'm saying. The notaries don't have an ethical or legal obligation to tell you that. They most oftentimes don't know the law. Had this person gone to an attorney, they could have probably still gotten legal status. It would have been through a different route, but it would have been the correct route. Whereas in this person's case, they were a few weeks away from the interview. It was going to be very difficult for them to get around that now that they were going to have their interview. If this video was helpful, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you.